Hi, I'm Heather. Do you feel like your pieces stay the same week after week? Do you struggle to play clean? Are you short on time? Or do you simply want to learn your pieces faster? Today, I'm going to share my top practicing tips with you so that you can learn your pieces fast and play them well. I've been performing most of my life, and I've learned that there definitely is an art to practicing. There's been many times where I've had to prepare for a performance in a pinch, like a funeral, and so I've had to learn how to be ultra productive at the piano. My first tip is create an A-B practice schedule. If you're short on time like me, then try breaking your pieces up so that you practice half on A day and the other half on B day. This will allow you to spend more quality time on each piece because you won't be trying to cram a bunch of pieces into one practice session. The key to making this practice schedule work is to practice 6 days a week so that you get enough practice on each piece. My next tip is to write in fingering. This may seem elementary, but honestly, if you just take a little bit of time to write in some fingering for yourself, you'll learn your pieces so much faster because you'll be playing them the same way every time you sit down to practice. Motor memory will kick in and your fingers will memorize the movement. You don't have to write in every finger number, but just the areas that you really need some guidance. Without fingering, I'll probably experience finger fumble and use fingering that's not very pianistic. Without well-planned fingering, I'll have to do some hopping, which will break the smooth legato sound. With fingering written in, I can focus on playing expressively and connect the notes with my fingers to get a smooth, beautiful sound. Next up, save dessert for last. Why do we as musicians start at the beginning of a piece every practice session? It's not good time management if you think about it, because the longer we sit at the piano, the less motivated we are to work through the problems. What happens when we practice like this is the beginning gets really polished and then the treble sections remain treble sections. So I encourage you to start on the difficult parts right when you open the music and spend most of your practice time on those areas. Then you can reward yourself with dessert by playing through the whole piece or playing the sections that make you feel like a piano superstar. My next tip is be a detective. I notice that when my students are struggling with a section in a piece, they don't take the time to figure out what they're missing and why they're missing it. Music is full of patterns and theory concepts, so if you take a little bit of time to study the music visually, you'll save yourself so much time and frustration. I was struggling a lot with this section, but once I studied the music, I realized that my right hand is simply playing an F major chord inversion, and I was able to clean this up by practicing in blocked chords. Another quick tip about doing detective work: if you notice that you keep making the same mistake over and over again, make sure you take a little time to make a noticeable note in the music for yourself. This is such an important step in fixing the problems. I'd like to take a quick pause and tell you about all the amazing videos on our channel like this one. You'll also find videos about how to improve your technique, play more expressively, and we also have piano lesson tutorials on famous classical pieces. So if this sounds good to you, then hit that subscribe button. The next tip I have for you is be afraid to make mistakes. This is what I tell my students all the time. Be very afraid to make mistakes, because every time we play, we're creating habits, and fixing bad habits takes a lot of time and effort. Here's another way to think about it. If I play through my pieces fast and sloppy, have I done anything productive with my time at the piano? Do I have a chance of playing it clean tomorrow? Probably not. But if I practice slow and careful and I play treble sections several times in a row perfectly, I actually have a chance of playing clean tomorrow. Next up, I'd like to talk about hand-separate practice. This may seem obvious, but hear me out. We all anticipate playing our pieces hands together, but honestly, if we practice hands together too soon, it's a waste of time. If it's difficult to play hands separate, it's going to be even more difficult to play hands together, and we're going to probably create some bad habits in the process. It's really difficult to think about all of the details when we're first learning a piece: the notes, the rhythm, the fingering, the slurs, and the staccatos. So it's best for us to practice hands separate for a while until we're really comfortable with that, and then we can start hands together. Another really important time to practice hands separate is when you run into difficult technical sections where your fingers aren't doing what you want them to do. This is a really difficult section in Debussy's Clair de Lune. Practicing hands separate in rhythms is very helpful in cleaning up technical passages. My next tip is to warm up with everything. Even after I have a piece mastered, my first run through of the practice session is slow and careful. It's almost impossible to play clean and top speed on the first try. So why do we sit down and play fast and sloppy? We really are just confusing our brains with bad notes and new finger movement. Honestly, there's many days where I only have 20 minutes to sit down and practice, but I know I can get a lot accomplished if I simply play through my pieces slow at a perfect tempo. If you want to learn the best way to practice a piece on the first day and more about maximizing your time at the piano, then watch this next video of mine. Let us know in the comments what you struggle with in your practice sessions. We'd love to hear from you.